Brilliance Audio presents The Confederacy's Last Hurrah, Spring Hill, Franklin, and Nashville by Wiley Sword, performed by Tom Parks. In memory of my father, Winfield E. Sword, 1905 to 1985. Within his soul tossed a certain restlessness, like the gathering ripple of a morning breeze across the meadow grasses. For he endeavored, by climbing that one additional step, to see what was beyond, and how far two uncertain legs might carry him. Despite life's hard knocks, he remained a compassionate man, as beneath that worldly facade he understood our common clay. He was considerate and giving, knowing that all want of others, if only for understanding. Although his flesh is gone, his spirit endures. It burns brightly within me, and will remain with my children and in their offspring for time eternal. Preface. The American Civil War, long recognized as perhaps the nation's supreme crisis, endures today in the minds of many, reflecting a fascination that recalls past glory and manliness. It was an adventure of the greatest magnitude. In large measure, the Great Disunion crisis has been extensively portrayed as a heroic war, the first of the modern and last of the romantic conflicts. It freed the slaves and saved the Union. There was an abundance of brilliant leaders on both sides. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, U.S. Grant, and William Tecumseh Sherman are household names even today. If many of their men fought and died, it was in essence a worthy death, suffered in the cause of liberty or a cherished ideal. Popular history has a way of obscuring some of mankind's ugliest scars as a matter of both perspective and proportion. Perspective reflects little more than the interpretation of reality. Yet perspectives generally vary from reality because they incorporate attitudes, largely influenced by the extent of our experience and knowledge. Historical proportion is equally difficult to grasp. It involves somewhat of a refined perspective, incorporating balanced judgment, knowledge, and perception. Today, we endure as a society extensive tragedy much as a daily routine. We despair at the death of several hundred persons in the crash of a commercial airliner, or the loss of individuals in a fatal fire or gruesome highway accident. The pages of newspapers are filled with accounts, and countless hours are devoted to investigating, reporting, and explaining these very disasters. It is entirely proper that much public attention is focused on such incidents, if only to learn from particularly calamitous mistakes. Yet, as a matter of proportion, all such tragedies pale in comparison with the American Civil War. Then, it was not hundreds of casualties that lay stricken on various sites across the nation. It was thousands. Of the more than 2.5 million men who fought in the Civil War, about 620,000 lost their lives. As statistics, these numbers are so intimidating that the essence of the personal meaning is often missed. Imagine one of our largest football stadiums, the Rose Bowl, for example, filled to capacity. If every single person in the crowd represented an American who died in the war, it would take more than 6 entirely full Rose Bowl stadiums to hold the extent of our Civil War dead. Or if each dead American from the Civil War were laid end to end, theoretically, they would stretch beyond the distance from Chicago, Illinois to Atlanta, Georgia. Yet even these figures are misleading as a full measure of tragedy, for beyond these deaths were the more than 500,000 additional men.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?